Hello and welcome to the Jay and Jack Show. My name is Jay.
I'm Walter.
Who's
I don't
Walter?
know. Just I had to think of a name real quick. Walter Radar O'Reilly.
Oh. From Raleigh, North Carolina, it's the Jay and Jack Show. Starring Jay and Jack. With special guest, Melissa Anelli. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Jack, we did it. We have made it beyond one episode. We have our second one. Look at this. We're on our second episode. Here today. Hopefully everyone enjoyed episode 1. I think it turned out pretty good. Jack, thank you for listening to it. I really appreciate
no problem.
looking at the dedication that I put into editing that episode.
My problem with I have kind of fallen out of podcast listening because when my video iPod died.
That was like 15 years ago.
I know. I had tons. Plus, I used to do a lot of outdoor work.
Yeah.
I used to do like ice maintenance at the rink.
Sure.
Like you used to be on the Zamboni for like 4 or 5 hours. I pop on some podcasts.
Yeah.
I listen to some. I just now and then I just don't have time. I'm babysitting.
No, it's great when the kid's crying. Just plug in those ear pods and
put here's your dad talking.
Put her to sleep.
Yep, usually works.
I'm tired. But yes, we had episode 1. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, and maybe Jack eventually will listen to it.
I will listen to it tomorrow.
Sure.
You know what? Then I wake up. It's not tomorrow. It's today.
Shucks. So, Jack, this episode will air closer to Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And
don't get me flowers.
Yeah, it's we're both of the male sex, and there's most of the time I think we fall short of expectation. Like maybe we strive for the best.
I don't know how married. It will be 30 years this 25th.
So what I wanted maybe we could go through. What's the one time we actually nailed it for Valentine's Day? Because I feel like a lot of times Valentine's Day is kind of a manufactured thing to sell cards.
It is.
But there's these expectations that are there. But have you ever had a time where it's like, maybe most of the time you didn't succeed, but like maybe you nailed it one Valentine's Day?
I don't think, because our anniversary, we got married like on the 25th, 11 days later.
Yeah.
It's always like, oh, don't do anything special because, and they were always like when you guys were kids, it was always, we try to take you guys, let's go to family dinner on Valentine's. It was always a nightmare because, kids are young and you're waiting an hour. You didn't make reservations.
That's true. Yeah. Just trying to go out to eat on Valentine's Day
is stupid.
Yeah.
I sound so romantic. Why don't we go on the 13th? Or the 15th.
Yeah.
So that's me being logical.
Sure.
Because you'll have a better time.
Yeah.
The food will be better. You won't be rushed because you go on Valentine's Day, once you get the seat, they're looking at you, eat fast. We got 100 people here waiting. They bring it up to you fast. Boom, boom. You're like, I haven't finished. Well, okay, I guess. So to me, I'd rather just go on the 15th or 13th. I don't think I think I sent her flowers one time and she wasn't expecting it.
Okay.
That's probably the one time. But then, once you nail it,
there's the expectation.
You've screwed yourself over because now you have to do it every time.
So is there a level of just kind of trying to play below expectations so that way you never have to like meet expectations?
It's pretty much how I've lived my life. Because no one expects anything. It's like
to me, I think I've only nailed it. And it wasn't even on Valentine's Day. It was last year. Because I hate buying cards. I think it's the stupidest thing.
I don't even look at them.
Yeah, it's just a piece of paper that ends up taking up space.
They're like $5-6.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Bad for the environment.
So I think I just stopped buying cards, and then Colleen just kind of maybe got the hint that we don't need to do cards for anything. But
your mom said that.
What?
We don't need to get each other cards, and then she didn't get me a card. And one day where's my card? I go, I thought we said we weren't giving cards. She goes, oh, so you didn't get me a card? No. Did you get me a card? No, but you don't want a card. I go,
Or I'll buy cards and I forget to give them. Like, I am not kidding that I have Valentine's Day card, a couple of Mother's Day cards, kind of in my hiding spots in the garage that I still haven't given to Colleen because I'll forget. But anyway, I'm a horrible husband. But last year, because Alex was born the day after Colleen's birthday, her birthday's February 8th, so we usually do a Birthentine's Day where we'll combine it together. So last year she, gave birth to our son, and so we had family in town, so it was like, okay, we're not going to be able to get to this. And I think Colleen just expected that we weren't going to do anything. But then I think a week later, once everybody was out of the house and we were kind of settled in a little bit, she was going out to do something, and she loves mint chocolate chip ice cream. She loves ice cream cakes, specifically Carvel ice cream cakes. So my first thing was trying to find a Carvel ice cream cake, but couldn't find one in Raleigh. So then
Really?
there's this. There's the only Carvels at the airport, and they don't do ice cream cakes there at that Carvel. In New York, it's a big thing, Carvel ice cream cakes. Anyway, but the local place over here that does fresh ice cream, it's really good ice cream. They made an ice cream cake, so made her an ice cream cake. Got decorations, decorated the entire house, had the ice cream cake, and the whole 10 yards. And Colleen can usually read me like a book and can always tell if I'm scheming or something. But when she got home, she was completely surprised, and kind of had this big surprise birthday party / Valentine's Day thing. We are here today with a very fun episode. We have a very special guest this week, Melissa Anelli, famous for her work as the web mistress of The Leaky Cauldron, one of the hosts of Pottercast, one of the premier Potter podcasts for the past 15 years, New York Times bestselling author of Harry a History, CEO of Mischief Management, that does, a multitude of fantastic conventions. Just an amazing individual. Her and I have been, as well as Colleen, we've been friends with them. Melissa and then the other Pottercasters, Frack and John, for over a decade. Very excited to get to chat with her, and we think you will enjoy the conversation as well. This show is made possible by our patrons, much like NPR is funded by listeners. All of the podcasts on the Jay and Jack Network are funded by our listeners as well. Our patrons over at patreon.com/JayandJack. Become a patron today and help make this show and all of the other ones possible. And for our patrons that listen to the Jay and Jack Show, or really, whether your patron listens or not, we're doing bonus episodes once a month for our patrons where, we record for several hours, not several hours, probably multiple hours.
Like days.
Days of recording to kind of produce this 1 hour show. And we take some of those extra moments from these episodes to make one bonus episode, featuring extra content from the guests that we interview, or maybe extra segments from the show that Jack and I do that didn't make the cut into one of these episodes. So for our patrons that give $5 or more a month, you will get access to this bonus episode, which is a lot of fun. So again, thank you to our patrons. And again, you can become one today by going to patreon.com, patreon.com/JayandJack, or go to jayandjack.com and click on the Become a Patron link today. Jack, are you ready to bring on our special guest for this week?
I am.
All right, let's bring her on, Melissa Anelli. Let's introduce our guest here. With us today is the legendary. I'm just going to keep adding things here. New York Times best-selling author, one of the matriarch of podcasting, podcasting.
Really
can we say?
old.
Yeah, I want to add too much here, but anyway, founder of Mischief Management, Melissa Anelli. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. It is definitely a 2007 party up in here.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's I haven't even seen your face. I'm only seeing one of your faces right now, but I haven't even seen that one face in a very.
It's been forever.
8 years we were trying to figure it out.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out.
To a quick thumbnail, we met. Actually, how did we meet?
I think the first time we actually met was when you were in Raleigh for one of your book tour things.
That's right, because we did.
It was
the
board.
Pottercast.
It was the library you did it at.
Yeah, Pottercast started in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
When a podcast wasn't even nobody knew what the heck it was. It was before Libsyn. It was before Apple. It was before the whole. We just sort of put the file up on the Leaky Cauldron website, and the whole Leaky Cauldron website crashed because we had no idea what we were doing. We decided, just because the last Harry Potter book was coming out, let's go to all the borders, and the three of us plus the three of us plus one of our girlfriends, my friend, my fellow podcaster John's girlfriend, just piled in a RAV4 or Kia. No, it was a Kia. It was terrible. We have pictures kicking because it was so bad. Piled in a Kia and traveled from borders to borders to borders, living on the merch money, just doing little live shows for 4 weeks before the last Harry Potter book, and we met out there.
Yep.
In Raleigh.
Yep. And what I loved, and my wife is she is the Potter nerd of the house. Mm-hmm. She brought me into it, but she's the true fan. But I think we always had a camaraderie around, because we had a big Lost podcast, and I think we kind of just gelled well because we were kind of in our own orbits. We would be nominated for the same podcast award a lot of times, and you guys would usually win. We won one time, but you all would usually. Actually, Mugglecast would win a lot too.
Well, Mugglecast and Pottercast would join up so that each of us because it was all audience based, and we didn't want to be mean to each other. So we were like, all right, we would tell the Mugglecast audience, vote for Mugglecast for this and Pottercast for this, and then we do the same. So we just decided which award we wanted. It was a nice way to do it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
But back then, I think, and I'm going to pat ourselves on the back a little bit here. We were doing, it wasn't just podcasting. It was this thing that is very common today and very normalized, that when you can't shut up about something, when you can't stop, you just have so much excitement and passion about a piece of culture and you can't help it. You got to share it. That's how those podcasts were born. And now everything is about that.
Yeah.
So basically we're old.
Well, it's because again, it's so you're bringing it's so commonplace, but back then, and even when we did the Lost podcast, there wasn't that we were not only were one of the first Lost podcasts, but we were one of the first TV show podcasts, like a podcast talking about a TV show. And again, now you have 10 billion, no matter what the show is, you have 10 billion podcasts about it. Two Broke Girls, they have 75 podcasts.
No way.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, the actors are doing it. The guy who plays the judge, not the judge, the demon guy on The Good Place.
Right.
Has a Good Place podcast.
Yes, he does.
He does?
Yes, he does.
Yeah. It's that you don't get much more meta. It's like if J.K. Rowling started a Harry Potter podcast. It's just... Which is
coming
amazing.
out next year. It's coming out next year, actually.
It's coming out next year. Listen, her Twitter feed is like a podcast.
That's true. That's true.
New info every day.
But what I think I love, and again, because there's nostalgia is a tricky thing because it can also be very bad. But I feel like looking back on our era of the internet, it was very inclusive. I felt like it was a lot, and maybe it's just rose-colored glasses, but the internet is such a dark place today sometimes, and so mean. But I felt like we were a lot more. Everybody got along, or everybody. I
think, less competitive.
Or maybe just the way message boards were versus the way Twitter is now. Fanship wasn't as dark as it seems now. Sometimes where there's very just horrible aspect, and there's still the good. But back then it was very much. I don't remember it being as dark or negative.
It's you definitely there was a dark undercurrent.
Sure.
Some places if you looked for it for sure, but with more and more masses come more and more, when we met, I hadn't even written the book about Harry Potter yet. I think I started that in a couple of years after we met, and I went through, as a result of that book and the Potter cast fandom and things like that, I had a very serious stalker for about a decade.
That's right. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember every time we kind of see you would have some update about it.
Well, for 5 years, I said nothing about it because when you're stalked, the first thing they tell you is never, ever give attention. But after 5 years of nothing happening with the internet, I just said, screw it. And I went public with it, and it actually helped with getting law enforcement involved.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it if you're getting stalked. It's not everybody's path, but that dark undercurrent, it came out, and people would say to me, but it's not like you're like J.K. Rowling. Like, there's no logic to this. There's no logic. I got the unlucky straw. That's what this is.
Scary.
And now you have people like Daisy Ridley and other actresses or whatever like leaving social media just because of the way people come after people, and it's just God.
Yeah, most often women and marginalized people. Mm-hmm. The way that the internet treats them is God, we're getting dark. What's happening?
Yes. Let's go back to the good times. Let's go back to the book
back
tour.
Back to the good times. But the good things that could come out, I believe, really, really, really do outweigh the bad. Or I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. It's crazy to be doing what I'm doing.
Well, what I love is I think when you were first coming up with the LeakyCon idea. And I think because I wanted to try to do a Lost convention. I think it was in 2009. We were talking about
it. Still want to do it?
I don't know. I don't know if there's like enough.
I don't know if there is an active
I
enough
think
fandom
it
for
would work.
It's a matter of like getting the right location, the right time. I started my own little toy convention in Raleigh. That's more just to sustain my horrible habit of collecting action figures. But it's amazing kind of seeing that growth of your kind of next chapter beyond history of Harry Potter history and Pottercast, and seeing this growth of these conventions that you've put on in Broadway Con. So it's even though I haven't seen you, I haven't gotten to talk to you, but it's kind of cool to kind of see what's been going on since the last time we met.
Well, the evil Facebook is keeping us connected.
Yeah, exactly.
The evil Facebook keeps us updated. I've been seeing the growth of your beautiful family, and you've been seeing the growth of my baby convention company, which now has 20 employees. And
yes,
wow.
Yeah,
I love looking at your like employee page or about us page, and just seeing like the diversity there and the representation there. Like it's awesome to see.
That makes me happy. It's something we work on. We're definitely not. We're not as there as we want to be with diversity, but we believe really, really strongly in it, and it's a difficult thing. You have to be really committed to it, because you wouldn't believe, even in our events, we try really hard for every single panel, every single aspect of it to have representation. You'd be hard pressed, and I'm not going to claim it never happened. It's possible it did.
Yeah.
But you'd be hard pressed to find a panel of all white men at one of our events. That's not. And when I say this, there's such a danger of like patting yourself on the back. Yeah. I don't say it as a pat on the back. I say it that this is the work that everybody is owed to do, and we just feel really passionate about doing it. And so I don't know, it's really exciting, because it's hard and you have to really commit yourself to it.
Yeah.
But when you look at a page and you see that there's representation there, that makes me very happy.
Well, yeah, I work for Google. I've worked for Apple before, and it's an opportunity, I think, in the tech world. And you look on their websites, and it's like, one girl.
They all look the same too. Yeah. It's all dudes with glasses.
Yep.
Like
all birds and a hoodie.
Oh my God! I've been in business now for so we all created LeakyCon in 2009. We started talking about it in 2007, and then once we created the second LeakyCon, we realized that something was different about the way that we did events, and that we had to honor that. And so we incorporated. Now, incorporation and actual business is way different. So we didn't actually employ anybody till 2014. Actually, yesterday, 2014, was our 5-year anniversary of hiring somebody, and that
cool.
person, Jordan, is still with us. And so now in 5 years, we've gone from 0 to 20 employees,
mm-hmm.
and now we do not just LeakyCon, but Broadway Con. We do Con of Thrones. We do an event with A&E Networks called Alien Con. We have a couple of other things going on. LeakyCon is having its 10-year anniversary this year, which is
I saw LeakyCon 10. That's
crazy.
Awesome.
So that over those years, so I consistently refer to myself as an accidental entrepreneur. Like,
I love your story. You have a great story. Just like how you even just got into, writing about Harry Potter. Like this whole, it's just kind of crazy how life is sometimes. Just this one, some of these little chain of events lead to this thing that just kind of keeps going.
Well, it's that same nugget that you have with Lost and continuing through.
Mm-hmm.
And with the toy convention, it's mm-hmm. that, like, I love this so much. I don't care what it is. I have to serve the community who loves it. Mm-hmm. So it went from the website to the book to the convention, and then the next convention. And then it was like, well, we have to really make this real because we're serving communities now. And mm-hmm. why would we ever want to stop that? And then making that real means entering this world that I never imagined entering, of so many men, just so many men who call me hun, and men who like, I could tell you, as a matter of fact, Takia, who's my COO, and I are mm-hmm. starting a podcast called Make New Mistakes. That's about management, about women in business. Yeah. And we're going to tell some of these stories because I cannot tell you how funny in retrospect it is once you're past the frustration of being a woman in business, especially a woman CEO or COO.
Because when you're going into meetings and those kinds of things and with other people, and depending on like the industries too, because sometimes you go into and it's like a good old boys club.
Mm-hmm.
Because my wife, she works in the legal field in the South, which is
oof.
It's a very but.
It's slowly evolving.
Yes, but that's what I love about your journey, is that it's entrepreneurs like you that kind of break through and kind of are the change and our inspiration for other people, which I think is important too.
Well, that's exciting. Thank you. We're trying. Honestly, most days it just feels like, okay, how are we getting through everything we got to do today? Let's just move, and you don't realize, but every little step.
Yeah.
You go forward and suddenly you turn around and there's 20 people working at your company and you have no idea what happened.
Like what, is Broadway Con your biggest one? Or...
I think Alien Con is the biggest one.
Really?
So Alien Con is in partnership with A&E Networks. It's mm-hmm. not technically quote unquote ours, but we license it and we run it for A&E.
Gotcha.
So, but of ours, believe it or not, LeakyCon is the biggest one.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. And they vary. Sometimes one will have a little bit,
That makes sense.
But the weird little convention with the weird name has somehow such a weird name. I don't know how. I mean, I do know how. We were, it's the Leaky Cauldron. Like, that's how.
Yes, of course.
But people don't.
But you think there might be some like brand confusion around like, people with urinary tract issues or whatever getting together?
There's a real condition,
there's a lot of people out there.
Because I have a thyroid condition called leaky gut.
Leaky gut?
Yeah, it's gross. It's nothing like it's microbial. Like it's not something that has an actual, but people who have celiac disease have leaky gut. Like it's something to do with absorption, blah, 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 science. But I find it hilarious that I run something called Leaky Cauldron and I ended up with something called leaky gut. But yes.
Serendipitous, right?
Serendipitous or calamitous, as you said. No.
But yeah, I think that's awesome. That's awesome that the community's still there. It's interesting to see, because I saw you made some posts about this last Fantastic Beasts movie. But it's interesting. Like I don't think it's controversial, but just the way these have been received versus the books, and especially somebody like with your perspective of being a part of this fanship for going on 20 years now, which is crazy.
Oh, God.
But that's insane.
That is insane.
But like from that perspective, like how do you see it? Like, do you see it as problematic as people are finding it to be today, or with your breadth of view that you have, are you I don't know. Do you have a more positive look at it, I guess?
I have questions about. So, here's the thing. It's not like I'm, besties with J.K. Rowling, but I've met her a bunch of times, and she wrote the foreword to my book, and we've corresponded a bit privately, and she is the real deal good person. She is legitimately a very good person. So, being a journalist for a while and doing these conventions, you meet a lot of people who are quote unquote famous. I don't know what famous means anymore, but almost all of them, not so much disappoint, but don't seem so magical in person.
Yep.
J.K. Rowling does. She just is delightful.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, she never disappoints, and she's never disappointed me morally. There's been a couple of things throughout the years privately. She's always stood up. She's always been a stand-up person. So knowing that, I find it hard when people assume the worst.
Yeah.
That they assume, and even though I have questions, like I have real questions about Johnny Depp, I have real questions about the decision to keep him. I have questions about certain representation aspects, and I want to talk to her about them, and I want to understand.
Yeah.
But what I don't get is people getting mean and assuming she's a bad person, and then the thing I will never, and I could do a thesis on this, the thing I will never, ever understand is telling any creative person ever to stop. It's one thing if you don't like what they're writing or don't like what they're saying, you have the option to turn it off, to not read it, to whatever. But nobody, from the worst writer in the world to the most genius auteur in the universe, should ever be told to stop creating, And so that's the kind of thing that gets me like, guys, stop. Just this is not, just stop. If you don't like it, just don't pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. Or don't buy a ticket.
And I should say that's different than it's not so easy for people who use the Harry Potter books as an escape from real trauma in their lives, especially abuse. It's a story about abuse. It's a story about an abused child. And so I would never say, just don't pay attention to somebody who feels betrayed that there's an alleged domestic abuser in the Harry Potter movies. That's different and more personal and more raw. I do believe that over the fullness of time, we'll find out what the deal is here. It is disappointing. I am disappointed that they kept Johnny Depp in. But it is, I do believe in Jo. She's always been in the end stand up, and without, real, like, irrefutable evidence. Otherwise, I'm gonna stick with that.
Do you think she owes it to anybody to actually explain, or like what do you think, given the fact that she's this, and I assume so as well. I think she's a very generous person, and just seems awesome in general. But do you think she owes an explanation or not?
I don't know. It depends. I mean, what does anybody owe anybody, right? Like,
true.
But I will say that the words that were used to explain it were difficult and confusing and honestly contradictory. And it seems like there are things that can't be said because of legal reasons, which I understand. But it also seems like this is a story that resonated with a lot of people who've experienced abuse in their lives. Yeah, and it feels like a distinct pain for them. And I don't know about but I think that those people are not wrong for feeling bereft at what's happening with that franchise.
Yeah. From the story aspect, because a lot of people are nitpicking, which is what fanships do. But do you think the Fantastic Beasts movie maybe would be better served as going back to the book and then movie? Because to me, I never really loved the movies, the books, because it's that cliche, I prefer the book to the movie. But it's just you can spend so much more time in a world in a book and get into so many more nooks and crannies. And J.K. is great at putting all these little nooks and crannies in there. And there's times in the movie, and especially the one that just came out, where there's all these little nooks and crannies in there, all these little Easter eggs, all these little clues that I think she enjoys writing about, but maybe necessarily weren't service to the story. Like, do you think maybe some of the people that have issues with the story, would it have been served better as a book first, or does it really matter? She can do whatever she wants.
I want to read this book. I would like to read it. I don't think this necessarily had to be. I think I get a lot of people saying, like, tweeting at me or whatever, saying, like, this should just be a book. Why is this a book? And not everything has to be, you know, we got this a lot with the play. Why is it a play? Why can't it be a book? Everybody could read it if it's a book. It's like, because it's a play. That's why it's not a book.
Yeah.
Because it's a play. And they're different animals. And when you see the play, you really understand why it has to be a play.
Yeah.
It is not a story. Baked into that story is the production, is the feeling of being inside the magical world that you know, and so I think exploring different media is a good and worthwhile thing. I think that she's showing a generation of people that if you're a storyteller, you're a storyteller, and it doesn't matter what the medium is. You know, man, I would love for J.K. Rowling to have a podcast. I think, and I know that just the way she tells stories, just in her, like just the the story about meeting somebody on the street, the way she tells it, she's a storyteller.
Oh, absolutely,
you know?
Absolutely.
That's a talent few people have, and she's got it like crazy.
I wonder why she hasn't done that yet. I think she would relish having a podcast.
I think so too. Let's make it happen.
I think that's the next step in Melissa Anelli's evolution.
Maybe she's
producing the J.K. Rowling podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe she's
you know
like
what I want to produce?
Doesn't understand technology.
Say that
Yes, we have Melissa produce it.
Like
if she doesn't understand technology, have Melissa produce it. There you go.
It's funny, when we had her on our podcast, we had her assistant do the recording, and we sent, you wouldn't believe, the most detailed and exacting set of instructions you've ever seen. Because what a tragedy if J.K. Rowling's recording didn't go through. And like we had backups. You know,
Sure.
You have the comp backup.
It's still stressful though. We've had Damon Lindelof on or whatever, and it's just like there's just that because we've had those podcasting moments where you lose an entire episode or whatever it is, and there's no worse feeling in the world. So you have that in the back of your mind, like, oh crap, what if this? Yeah.
When I interviewed her for the book, I set up 2 recorders and then 2 separate recording programs on my computer, and she was watching me do this, and I was like, "Joe, I know me," and she's like, "No, I get it," and I did. I lost 2 of them. So it's just, you know. It's just what it is.
Yeah, it's the name of the game. But I'm sorry. So you had this full list, but everything.
Oh, it was just to avoid the the technology. But listen, I will go over there and produce the hell out of that thing. It'd be J.K. Rowling just telling, I don't know, stories.
Could be about anything. It could just be shooting the breeze, whatever.
I'd listen.
Exactly. There's people, and I think her Twitter proves that, where, we could hear her talk about anything. I think it would be an enjoyable show. It'd be a top 10 hit on the iTunes.
Let's get it going.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yes, this will start a movement.
Yeah.
On this
Serial
show.
Part 3.
Yeah.
Serial the J.K. Rowling story.
Yes, Serial the J.K. Rowling story. Let's stop here, take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. So Broadway Con, big show about Broadway, and this is kind of an aside. I am not a Broadway person, but Colleen is, and I went to my first show recently, which was Hamilton.
That was your first show?
Yeah.
Boy, you're just, the bar is just
hella spoiled.
You're spoiled.
I've never been to one.
This was because again, and it's not old. Like I like music. Like I've always liked, movie musicals, but I've never been to a show. But Colleen really wanted to go, and I was like, sure, absolutely. So we got tickets, and man, it was incredible. Like I was in tears. Like it was just such a moving experience. So then for Christmas, I got our tickets to Miss Saigon.
That one person that was singing.
What?
Except for that one person that was singing.
Well, so I was like, I didn't know the rule about singing at a musical, so I started singing. I was like, shh. I was like, oh, I didn't know. That was a no.
Don't sing in the audience.
Because I'm used to concerts where it's like you're singing along with the band. So I didn't know it was a snafu. So it was. She got me early on. Again, she was my guide, my Broadway guide. But man, it was just like it's one of those things where rarely things that have so much hype live up to the hype, but it lived up to the hype.
It absolutely does.
It was so good.
because I have a theory about this, because, and you're going to be able to see this, but I'll try and describe it for a listening audience. Hype and quality, right, are different.
Yeah.
And in your brain, hype, I think, stops, and I got my hand like 5 inches above my shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Hype like stops there in your brain. You can only conceive of enough hype.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to inch the quality 6 inches above my shoulder, you know? Hamilton does. The height, the quality is actually higher than where our brains stop perceiving hype. And so when it just is that good. I don't know who doesn't think Hamilton is good, but that person and I can never know each other.
Well, that's just it. It's like everybody. And again, I very rarely, and it maybe just like a hipster mindset is like everybody loves something. I'm like, whatever. It's not that good. And then my little, hipster heart kind of melted away because I'm like, this is so good.
It's so weird to me that you have like a hipster heart, because
I don't, but I don't. I almost doubt things. Like I doubt if somebody's like that jazz. I was like,
sure.
There's no way it can be that good. Nothing's that good.
Nothing's that good. That's what I thought about Harry Potter.
Right? Okay. Yeah, I mean, same for me for Harry Potter, because Colleen was like, you need to read the books. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then I was like, we had a Christmas break or something, and I had time. And I was just like, this is so good.
I've been dating somebody for almost 3 years now.
Yeah, you guys are adorable, by the way.
Oh, we love each other a lot. It's really gross. We're really gross. Honestly, never in my life did I think I would be this person. I'm somebody that I would be like, get a room, go away. We're gross. Love is wonderful. He has never read Harry Potter. He's read in his adolescence. He got up to book 4 and stopped. Which I get. You're like 14 and you're busy, and
sure, okay.
I sort of get it. But I told him, like, the time is ticking down on how long we can be together, and you couldn't have not finished Harry Potter. So I bother him about this probably once a week for 2 solid years. And then he had some time off work, and I get a text from him, and it's a picture of, like, I don't know, chapter 6 of book 1 or something. And he's like, I have questions. And, 2 pages of questions. He's like, baby, this is really good. I was like, I have literally been telling you this every day for 2 years. But did you think I was joking? So I know I get it. And now he's just like, but Dumbledore, and what about this? And what about, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I've been telling you this. What do you think my whole career is based on?
Listen to my podcast.
But do you find it's endearing and cute, like seeing somebody go through that journey? Because similar things happen for Lost, like friends, coworkers, whatever. Like, hey, I just started Lost. What's the hatch about, or whatever? But I always find I find it cute, just seeing them.
What about Dharma?
Yeah, exactly. You're like
where's
reliving.
Where's that food coming from?
Yeah. Were they dead the whole time?
I have a theory. The best is, I have a theory. And you're like, yeah.
Who does Kate end up with?
I think Snape's really a good guy. Okay, thanks. I get that all the time. Or it's like any little piece of news in Harry Potter, anything, I get sent to me. And I don't want it to ever stop because it's really cute and it's great. Yeah, but sometimes you're just like, guys, I literally am probably one of the first 4 people in the world to have seen this. My entire Twitter feed is Harry Potter people. Like, it's fine. It's cool.
I appreciate it.
We had one episode of Lost that always cracked me up. It was one where Hawking's picture was on the desk. And we must have had 500 emails, people telling us, and phone calls.
Did you see?
So I think we made a joke of it.
We did. Because like when the show would we'd record our show like right after the show aired, and the calls would come in, and we used one of those like 206. I don't know what the program was, K7.net or whatever. And so we would get these emailed calls coming in, and like literally 50 calls would come in within 10 minutes, and I would have to quickly sort through. But like literally every single one was that thing. Hey, did you see that picture on the desk?
I would do the emails. I go, it's all about the desk, the Hawkins desk.
But there's something about people watching it now where they're binging it or just going straight through it. And maybe it's just, I'm curious to see, maybe on the book side of it, because you had this time and moments in between the books where you kind of sat there and just marinate in it and really digest that one book. Is it a similar type thing to people binging a TV show like Lost now, where they can just go straight through? Is there a similar experience loss for people now that, I mean, the books have been all out for over a decade? Is there a similar experience loss by not having that time in between the books?
Definitely. I called it the 3-year summer. Well, not I. A friend of mine coined the term 3-year summer for the time between when Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix came out, because it was like Harry was at the Dursleys for 3 years, basically. And that in that period, that was the incubation period for the Harry Potter fandom. You had all the big sites really getting traction. You had a lot of press catching up. You had the books getting on the New York Times bestseller list all at once. You had a lot of there were controversies, and then the book was quote unquote delayed. So it was all about, and then in the meantime, the social media on the internet was really just picking up steam. And so the Harry Potter fans were using that time to kind of piece together and sleuth and write their own fanfic. And if it wasn't for that 3-year period, I do not think the Harry Potter fandom would have been as big. It'll always be big. Sure. But it wouldn't have been like this. I mean, what's very similar right now is Game of Thrones. Where we are, I mean, my boyfriend and I are finishing a rewatch that we thought would take us 2 months, and it has literally taken us 2 weeks. Every night I come home, I'm like, you want to watch an episode? Hey, you want to watch an episode? He's like, yeah, I do.
You want to take another hit?
Exactly. Hey, you want to watch an episode? It's like that, and it's that fury, and that not fury, furor is coming for these last pieces coming together, because it is an epic. It is a massive epic that he has created, or HBO has semi-created, whatever. Yeah. But it's this weight that has created the anticipation, really does. And now that it's all out, we get to really gel. So Pottercast is starting for the 3rd time or something. We're starting a full reread of the books, where we had started it kind of chapter by chapter, but it felt wrong. It felt like our audience doesn't particularly need that. So we're taking a step back and doing some real planning like adults. And we are gonna make a proper go at it with theming and plot and stuff like that, more on the binge mode model, which fine, we'll just copy binge mode because they're amazing. But really do it with the heavy fandom feeling and that love and the fullness of time, and now the experience that we have being this hardcore Harry Potter fans for this long, coalescing it all, putting it all together. Yeah. That was way more than you asked.
No, I think that's it. We tried to do like a Lost retrospective, and we stalled out.
We did 2. One rewatch.
We did one rewatch,
and then people go. We started another one. People go, well, you got to finish it.
But I think it's been tough in the Lost because there hasn't been new things coming out, and I don't know. We do need to get back to it at some point, and it's almost like
2, right?
Huh?
We're in season 2.
We're in season 2. And it was a lot of fun because we would have different guests on each week, and they would be a part of that discussion, and it's there. We will get back to it.
I think with Lost, when it ended for us, I think we both needed a break.
Yeah.
I just needed a break. I couldn't talk about Lost anymore.
Yeah, I hear that.
But that at the same time, though, it's such an integral part of our lives that it's hard not to have it be there. But I'll be curious to see if they ever, because we had our guest on our first episode was one of our old Lost podcasting friends, and he mentioned about the Lost signal going back up, and will all the old timers kind of take arms again in the conversation, or how will that stimulate that community? Huh?
They're gonna reboot it at some point.
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, it's a property that was successful, so it's gonna. But
yeah, everything's getting rebooted now. Yeah. Here's what I think's coming. You ready? I think we're less than 3 years away from the Harry Potter Netflix or Amazon series.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I think you brought up Game of Thrones. I think that like having a 10 episode per book. It's perfect.
Yeah, do it Game of Thrones style. Do it with all the things that we couldn't even do in movies back then, but can do on TV now.
Yeah.
The CGI in Game of Thrones is still so good
even when
you look back. Could you imagine Harry Potter when they don't feel like they have to rush through 2 hours for one book?
Yep.
You know,
especially because Goblet of Fire for me was the first one where the movie just we have to like fly through this thing.
Yeah.
And because again, Colleen, I love her, and this she raised me right as a Potter enthusiast. She's like, you are not watching a single movie until all those books are read. So I'm thankful for that. But I read all the books and then we started watching the movies. I think the final 2 movies hadn't come out yet, but we're watching them together. And I was like, well, where's this? And where's that in the movie? It's like, where's this? She's like, see, I told you.
There you go. That's the proper way to watch a Harry Potter movie, to be as pissed off as every other fan that things are not there. Otherwise, you're not having the full experience.
That's true. Yeah. I think this has been great. Chat.
This has been great to catch up. Let's do this more.
Yes.
You gotta come on podcasts. You finished reading them all though, right?
Huh?
Have you finished reading all the Harry Potter books?
Oh, of course. Yeah, we finished before.
Yeah,
I had before Deathly Hallows the movie. I was finishing up the book. I had like my last chapter before we went into that movie.
You guys have to come on over to podcast. I know Frack would love.
Frack, I love that man.
The best.
I don't think I've seen him in person since our wedding. He was at our wedding.
I remember he was so excited.
But yeah, he's good people. I miss all of you all. And honestly, one of the reasons to do this podcast, and I'm glad you're on, is like there's a lot of like my podcasting friends and Jack's podcasting friends that we don't get to talk to because we're all living all over different parts of the world. We all have our things going on. I was like, this would be a good way to catch up with people and check in.
Yeah, get it back going. I mean, Pottercast is still going, and the camaraderie that me and John and Frack have means that it doesn't even matter. We just press record and just go.
Yeah.
Now, does it make a good podcast? I don't know, but
who cares?
It's just so natural.
Yeah.
We've been doing this now for 15 years?
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2005 for us too. I think we started late 2005.
Yeah. We're like
October.
I just, you think that like, I don't know. I feel like I want to go to all these new podcasts and be like, listen.
You owe me.
Back in the day, we had to figure out how to work with Libsyn.
Yeah, exactly.
We had to figure out how to do an ad.
Yeah.
We had to figure out what was Audible. Audible was like they're still doing ads.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They were our biggest sponsor for a couple seasons there.
Yeah.
We had a Borders ad. We went to Borders. We had to like hand code the feed. That God forbid you had to do that now. But we had a hand code.
Oh yeah.
And like there was always one character that would screw up the feed and it wouldn't download. You had to make a lo-fi version because 40 megabytes was too much for anyone.
Yep.
So you had to make a 10 megabyte version.
Or even just upload speeds were so bad back then. I remember it took hours to upload like an hour-long show sometimes.
I have met people who have shown me the compact discs onto which they used to burn each episode so they could put it in their CD player when they went on trips.
Yep.
It's just it was a whole different world. And actually, how have I not talked about this? We're doing a podcasting convention.
Yes. Oh my God. I did want to talk about it. Colleen really wants to go.
You went in Nashville, right?
Yeah, Nashville. So I think we're kind of planning to try and go. So if you're there,
May 31st to June 2nd, we're creating a whole. We're bringing down a whole array of people and from different genres, and we're trying to create the definitive podcasting event. We've got Nancy and Undisclosed and Accused and a lot. I'm blanking, but a lot of really great shows, and there's a lot more coming. So that's at the National Music City Center. So we're really excited about it. We're working on some big stuff too. So it's called PodX, and it's in the Mischief vein, which is to make community and learning out of a shared passion.
Yeah, and Nashville's a great town. Oh,
it's a great town.
That's a good place to do it.
I agree.
So yeah, I think that's the hope. So if you're there, we can. Are you going to be there?
Yeah, absolutely. And
okay,
we should talk. We should talk about you guys like being on stuff. And,
oh yeah, sure.
And whatnot.
Yeah, we'll be like on a little table off to the side.
we will be sitting there with our complaining box about how we used to have to podcast by walking.
Can we have an old timer section, just this one little section?
The podcasting old with our you got to bring your Plantronics mic.
Yes.
You have to be on Skype version 1.0. And
be like, who are you?
And I don't know. You have to be hand coding your own RSS
Yep.
feed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Oh, that'll be perfect. That'll be perfect. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for your time. So it's always great talking to you, and this was a lot of fun. And
it was nice meeting you.
Oh, that's right.
Nice
Yeah,
meeting
Jack.
you
I'm
time.
surprised Jack had never met you.
No.
But again, whenever we did Comic-Con stuff, you would never like hang out or anything. So
I was sticking in the mud. Well, I'm from San Diego, so
he has family. He's got me. I'm like
I got obligations.
Whatever. These people are my family.
These are my family. Yeah. Well, it's great to meet you, and we'll see you guys real soon.
Yeah, awesome. All right, take care. Bye. All right, Jack, we're recording this the day after the Super Bowl, but this won't be released till a week after the Super Bowl. The most entertaining Super Bowl in the history of the world.
And the commercials were bad, too.
And that's what this segment is about. So, yeah, the commercials wasn't too hot this year.
Well, they haven't been good for like 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years, but they're blaming young millennials.
Everything can't be millennials' fault. I'm so sick of millennials being blamed.
They're saying young millennials are the reason why the commercials are so bad.
And what's their reason?
I guess they're afraid to take chances or something like that.
Ugh.
And because they're
like, I get it. We've killed Applebee's. Okay, you can put that one on us.
Because commercials aren't edgy anymore. They're not. You don't have the frog saying Budweiser.
That's not edgy.
I don't know.
How's
but
they were.
But
the Bud Light ones were funny though. Those were still good.
There's the Bud Lights were okay. The Game of Thrones one was my favorite.
Yeah.
I did tweet. I liked the peanut one until the Planters peanut until A-Rod was at the end. I'm not a fan.
Sure.
And but overall,
I dug the Andy Warhol one. I thought that was just an interesting commercial.
Well, it was obviously an older one,
the
original one. But I was like, But the problem with that one is how many people know who Andy Warhol is.
Yeah. And not only that, but also like a lot of commercials now seem to be like a little snippet and then go online to see the rest of this movie or something. It's just like,
but it's funny because it used to be the commercials were so good they'd be played over and over. And now, I think the whole Super Bowl day was just terrible.
Yeah, it was a big letdown. It definitely was. But this segment that I'm presenting here is our Monday after Monday morning quarterbacking the commercials. So the goal of this segment is to see if we can come up with better commercial ideas than the suits.
All right. Okay.
That put these things. So the rules of this game are simple. Jack and I will write down at random 5 actors, 5 brands, and 5 locations. Then each of us will have to pick 3 numbers at random, 1 through 5, and that'll give us a random actor, a random brand, and a random location that we will then have to come up with a commercial on the spot.
Okay.
And we will let you, the listener, decide who had the best commercial ideas. So we'll see how many we can do. So, Jack, right now we will write down different actors. I feel like I could go one way with these actors, but maybe I'll go.
I'm probably spelling the name wrong, but that's okay.
Yeah, 5 actors or actresses.
Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to also think of people that haven't been in commercials or maybe not famous for being in commercials.
Okay. Are there for commercials present day?
I mean, anytime, space, whatever.
Okay, so I got to be careful with this one.
But, hey, listen, if you're trying to throw me a curveball, that's
okay.
That's your prerogative.
So these are the ones I'm giving you. You're gonna pick.
I'm gonna pick numbers at random, and they'll associate with. So I'll be like,
okay, I see,
1, 4, 2.
Oh, I see.
And that's gonna be the commercial I have to come up with.
All right.
So I'm almost done with my locations.
I like this. Oh, I thought I was coming up with commercials I would want to do.
Mm-mm.
Okay, cool. This is even better.
All right, I have all of mine. Do you have all of yours?
I have all mine, yes.
Okay. Do you want to flip to see who goes first?
It doesn't matter. You can go first. All right, flip.
Because this is in real life, because you can't say I'm cheating with this coin flip technology. Here we go.
Heads. And
it is heads. Do you defer or?
I defer. Okay. I'm gonna be like the Rams. Punt, 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 punt.
All right. So for my first commercial, I'm gonna go 2, 4, and 2. 2, 4, 2.
2, 4, 2.
Yeah.
So 2 would be Vader.
Darth Vader.
Yes.
Okay.
4 is Mountain Dew.
Okay.
And 2 is space.
Oh, wow.
That's actually pretty easy for you.
Oh man. Okay. Here's my commercial.
Okay.
So it opens up. They're playing the Darth Vader. Dun, 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 dun. They're in space, obviously, and he's coming through. And Vader's like really ticked off at somebody. You know, like when he gets mad, he wants to choke them.
So every scene.
Yeah, every scene he's in. But in classic Darth Vader fashion, his mouth is really dry, is really parched, and he's like, and he can't, and then he's like, and then somebody says, "Sir, would you like a Mountain Dew?" And he's like, and then he's got his James Earl Jones voice, like maybe it's what's that guy with an annoying voice?
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Sure, like any person with the annoying voice, and then he takes the Mountain Dew. Me drinks the Mountain Dew, and it's that thunderous James Earl Jones voice, and it's like,
that is very good.
So it was my first commercial.
Wow.
There we go.
I can't beat that. Because it's almost like my Breathe Right commercial.
Oh, that is, yeah, you're
That's
right.
my
You're
Breathe
right.
Right commercial.
Right. Vader commercial.
Anyway.
Okay.
Let's go 3, 1, 5. 315.
315. Okay. So your celebrity, your actor or actress is Conan O'Brien.
Okay, Conan.
Your brand is Jell-O.
Jell-O.
And and your location is Disneyland. Disneyland, yeah.
All right. Got to be careful with this one. You got Conan.
Yep.
He's on. Let's see. He's got to be on a ride. It's got Conan. He's got the hair going.
Yeah.
And he's on a ride, and he's riding. What's a fast moving ride there? Big Thunder.
Yeah, Big Thunder, Space Mountain,
or no, Matterhorn.
Matterhorn.
It's outdoors. Yep. Matterhorn. Yep. And he's riding. He's going to space, and it stops. He offers the abominable snowman some Jell-O. And he stops screaming.
Oh, very nice.
Because he's happy. He goes, I like me some Jell-O. There you go. So Conan on Space Mountain gives the abominable snowman Jell-O. Because when you go by, it's
yeah, sure.
He's always angry and scary. Yeah. So now he's got Jell-O.
Okay.
And who isn't happy with Jell-O?
Depends who you ask.
That was dangerous. I mean, because my mind was going
Depends
somewhere else.
Who's offering it?
I go, can't go there.
You could go anywhere. This is your commercial.
No.
Millennials be damned.
Well, we got to boycott this guy.
All right. That was okay, I guess.
So Jell-O soothes the
Jell-O soothes the
beast.
I mean, I feel like you just kind of copied my Darth Vader commercial idea.
Well, you stole my Breathe Right commercial.
Nobody knows
about
my
your Breathe Right commercial.
No, it's not. Mountain Dew he had an annoying voice. Mountain Dew.
He puts some Breathe Right on and goes, I feel better already.
Well, mine brought him back to his
voice.
Anyway, okay, all right. I don't want to. All right. I'm gonna go 1.
Okay.
3. I should just go 1 again because I feel like maybe you went a certain theme across the line. But to have fun, I'm gonna say 1, 3, 4.
Okay, you got John Hamm.
Okay.
3 is Pepsi. 4 is the ocean.
Oh, okay.
That was a theme.
All right, so we know that at the end. I mean, it's a spoiler alert for Mad Men, but
this kind of sucks for me.
What? You've seen Mad Men.
I just gave you the perfect commercial again.
I know. So at the end of Mad Men,
spoiler
alert. Spoiler alert. Go ahead, like 5 minutes. John Hamm's character, Don Draper, has found inner peace, which led him to write one of the greatest Super Bowl commercials of all time.
I like to
buy
teach
the
the
world
world to sing,
which is a Coke commercial.
harmony.
So that was kind of like the ending to that show. That was a really cool ending to the show. Well, this commercial takes a play on that a little bit, where it's John Hamm overlooking the ocean, and he kind of has that Zen moment, and instead it goes to how Pepsi brings the world together and makes the world.
And then Pepsi becomes the number one soft drink.
And it becomes the number one soft drink.
Nice.
So there you go.
Nice. Well, you're 2 for 2.
I'm kicking your ass right now.
Well, I made it easy for you.
Well, then why? I mean, why did you? So okay, you thought you were going to give yourself easy commercials.
No. I just put him in orders how I okay, but I see what you're doing now. But no, I was. It's
okay.
perfect.
All right. Well, the listeners will decide.
Well, had to pick Pepsi. I mean, if you would have picked some of the other ones.
Yeah, I picked it at random. I don't know what your list is.
Yeah, so it would have been mixed up a little bit. I do have a couple soft drinks on here, though.
That's Mountain Dew, Pepsi. Are these all Pepsi products?
No. There's another one. I like
Pizza Hut?
to teach the world.
Oh, okay. Jeez. Okay, all right. Your next set of numbers. Go ahead.
I'll go, let's see. What have I didn't write down what I picked before. I'll go,
last time you did 315.
315. I'll go, 2,
2,
4,
4,
1.
2, 4, 1. Okay, so 2. Your celebrity is Ben Stein. Ben Stein.
Wow, Ben Stein.
Bueller. Your product is the DeLorean.
DeLorean. This is tough.
And your location, this is a callback to episode 1, is Idaho.
Idaho, God.
Episode 1 of Crazy Hank.
So my product is Idaho. So I'm
No. Your location's Idaho. Your product is the DeLorean motor car.
Okay. So Ben Stein. You got Ben Stein, Mr. Energetic. Okay, you got Ben Stein doing the narration.
Okay.
You have the DeLorean pops in.
Uh-huh.
And he lands in Idaho. Can there be any other actors in there? Or could only be Ben Stein?
You can add anybody you want, but the main star has to be Ben Stein.
Okay. So then the DeLorean comes in.
Mm-hmm.
You have Michael J. Fox comes out eating French fries. Idaho, tater tots.
Mm-hmm.
Eats tater tots. And he goes, these were better in the past. I don't know.
So this is a commercial to visit Idaho? Is it
visit Idaho? You want to eat Idaho potato products like I don't know, whatever. What I'm trying to think of Olay. Ore-Ida.
Yeah.
Are they Idaho?
Yeah, it's Oregon and Idaho. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe let's say these are better now than in the past. That's what he's going to say. Okay. Michael J. Fox gets out and say these tater tots are better now than they were in the past.
Okay.
There you go. So he gets his DeLorean. Going,
and what's it Ben Stein? What is he doing?
He's just doing the narration.
Okay.
He goes, back in 1955, tater tots were kind of stale. So he's doing that. And so then you see that all of a sudden the DeLorean gets out, and it's like, you get this, the farmers are looking at him. The farmers are going, what's going on? And the doors open
Going
up.
doors, yeah.
And he comes out, and he's got the costume, he's got the thing on like a spaceman. He goes, and he's got a big plate of tater tots. The tater tots are better now than they were in the past.
Okay, all right. You saved it. You kind of stick save.
I did
there.
save it, but
you were lost there for a minute.
I was like, "What am I doing with Idaho?" Again, nothing against Idaho. Nothing.
No, I feel like maybe our first 2 episodes we've harped on Idaho a lot, but hey,
there goes our 3 listeners in Idaho.
Yeah, but we do love Idaho.
Yes, I love Idaho. It's my first destination.
All right, I'm gonna go 4.
4, okay.
1. I'm guessing that's your Coke. And 3.
Okay, you got Robert Shaw
from Jaws.
Coke.
Are they all soft drinks?
No, one was Breathe Right.
Okay.
No, and one, I won't tell you the other one.
Okay,
We're only doing 3, right?
Sure.
Okay. And the San Antonio. So you got Robert Shaw, Coke, San Antone, as they like to say in San Antonio.
San Antonio. Okay. Let's see. How am I gonna? So I think you have Robert Shaw. There's no way you don't kind of try and recreate or even have fun at the what's the Indianapolis? Or what was the ship?
Indianapolis, yeah.
USS Indianapolis. So
I don't know if you have fun with that. It's a real thing.
Well, yes. But I'm saying that scene. It's one of those
scene,
iconic
okay.
scenes. So he is kind of going through that.
Okay, time out.
What?
Okay, the ship's not sailing in San Antonio.
Can I get to my thing?
Okay, go ahead.
So he's going through whatever story. It's like very dark. But then you realize it kind of pans out and he's in this little lake in San Antonio. And it's not that big of a deal, but the people that are sitting there watching him enamored are drinking a Coke because nothing helps enjoy a good story like a Coke. All right, that's my weakest one, okay?
About people dying, being chopped in half by sharks.
I'm not saying that would be the story. I'm saying something like that.
I'll never wear life preserver again.
They got those doll's eyes.
Yeah, that was definitely a strikeout for you.
My first two are really good.
That could have been on yesterday's Super Bowl.
You mean a week ago Super Bowl?
See, I thought we were doing things. I said, okay, Robert Shaw, Coke. But actually, I had Robert Shaw with Mountain Dew. And he gives the shark the Mountain Dew.
Oh, okay.
And the shark leaves him alone.
Oh, that's a good idea.
These sharks, the shark.
Yeah, but I have San Antonio. What the hell?
I know, but he reaches up for the Mountain Dew.
Is there a SeaWorld in San Antonio? Oh, I missed my opportunity there.
So he reaches up for the Mountain Dew, and instead of trying to hit him with the tank, he gives the Mountain Dew. The shark goes, shark goes, all right, I'm out of here. And then Ben Stein goes, I'm tired of this. Bueller.
All right.
So
your last one. Here we go.
Which numbers have I not picked here?
You have done 3. Well, for your first one, you've done 2 and 3, so that leaves you.
All right, so I'll go 4.
Okay, 4. For the next one, you've done 1 and 4.
I'll do 3.
Okay.
And then 2.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so 4 is Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. Okay. God, that's a tough one.
She can do anything.
Well, she's versatile.
I was saying she can play anything. 3 is Domino's Pizza. And 2 is San Diego.
San Diego. Wow. Well, San Diego alone is a scenery. Just
of course.
A nice sunny day. All right, Meryl Streep with pizza.
In San Diego.
In San Diego. She's at a Charger game. She's sitting at Qualcomm Stadium all by herself.
Okay.
And she's just sitting there, gets on her cell phone, and dials up and gets a Domino's pizza. I'm just kidding. Let's see.
I feel like you had something there.
It's Meryl Streep. She's at Petco.
Okay.
She's at Petco Park, which is home of the Padres.
Home of the San Diego Padres.
And it's sold out.
Oh, okay.
And it's sold out. It's crazy. And she doesn't want a hot dog. She don't want the typical stadium food. She's craving Domino's pizza.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got so the relief pitcher comes in. It's Trevor Hoffman.
Okay.
So they're playing Hell's Bells. If you've never seen when Trevor Hoffman come in for the Padres,
his entrance song is Hell's Bells. Well known. Yeah.
The crowd would go crazy standing up. But Trevor Hoffman doesn't go to the mound. He goes to Meryl Streep and brings her a Domino's pizza.
Okay.
He gives her relief. There you go.
All right, it's not bad.
I mean, some people would have to know what Hell's Bells meant to fans of San Diego.
Sure.
I mean, we didn't have World Series. And
Okay,
stuff.
I think that one's pretty. Like when you go to the Hall of Fame and you see Trevor Hoffman's stuff, like one of the things they have is like Angus Young from AC/DC coming out in a Trevor Hoffman jersey.
Oh, that's cool.
When they did a concert in
because
San
if
Diego.
you just go on YouTube and do Trevor Hoffman Hell's Bells, it's probably some of the most. It really grips you inside. I mean,
but I think you had a better idea. Your first one is because you have somebody with the range of Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep, yes,
and you have her in Jack Murphy Stadium or whatever it's called now, and it is empty, and it's showing how it's kind of dilapidated, and it's a faraway shot. It just kind of keeps going into Meryl Streep's face, and she's able to have just like that tear, right?
Okay.
It's representing that the
NFL
isn't here anymore.
All right.
You know, and it's kind of showing you. It's almost like a middle finger to the NFL during a Super Bowl commercial. And then
nice.
And then she just kind of closes with taking a bite of some pizza, Domino's pizza, which is not the official pizza of the NFL.
So it's just a giant FU to the NFL.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, see, that's where I thought you were kind of going with it.
I started to, and I started thinking, what am I going to do here? It's an empty stadium.
Yeah.
But I didn't think, no, nice work.
Yeah.
Nice work. Would the NFL allow that, though?
Maybe like it was like a secret kind of.
Yeah.
Like you thought you were getting something else.
Yeah.
Or they just heard Meryl Streep and like, we're in.
Yeah, we got Meryl Streep.
That'll save all our problems. All right, well there you have it, folks. You can decide who won.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you, even though you stole my first one.
I didn't steal it.
That's my commercial.
Yours is completely
different.
different.
What I wanted to do was I thought I was going to do John Hamm. Walking, it's my favorite commercial. Is he's walking through the desert. He's all tethered and his clothes are torn. He comes up to these two. He hasn't had water. He's had no liquid. He comes up to the whole desert thing. Comes up and he just looks up and there's two vending machines.
Yeah,
one Coke, one Pepsi. And he looks up and he gets up to the Coke and it's all these piles of all these empty Coke cans in a recyclable bin, saying sold out. And then they have Pepsi free. The sign says free.
Yeah.
And he just looks and goes, and he starts walking on, crawling through the desert.
It's a good one. It's pretty good.
That to me would be a good Super Bowl commercial.
Well, maybe if there's people, advertising agencies out there, they're listening to this segment, and maybe these ideas that we had here today could help maybe rescue
Meryl
some
Streep
of
too.
The bad Super Bowl commercials that have been.
You need something. It's just there was no. I don't think Coke even did a commercial, did it?
Yeah, they had like a variant of the Buy the World of Coke thing. They did an animated kind of thing. It was cute.
I might have been sleeping during that time.
I think a lot of people were sleeping through a lot of it. And it's usually sometimes the more boring Super Bowl has the better commercials. But this one just kind of is flat across the board.
Like the robot kid.
That was weird.
I said, that freaks me out.
Yeah.
He's like doing a tax return.
Yeah.
The chunky milk.
Oh, God.
I did say I'd rather watch Chunky Milk than the Maroon 5.
One had personality.
Because there's nothing worse than Chunky Milk.
No, not at all. Not at all. All right, Jack. Well, there it is. Our Monday after Monday morning quarterbacking of the Super Bowl commercials. And yeah. So, Jack, you ready to close out the show?
I am ready.
All right, here we go. Give us an email at jayandjack@gmail.com.
Once again,
that's
jayandjack@gmail.com.
Want to thank our guest today, Melissa Anelli. It's always great to talk to her. Such great insight, and so accomplished, and it's always a great time catching up with her.
That was the first time I ever spoke with her.
I kind of was like, oh, that's right. I don't think he's ever, because not even at Comic-Con when she's been around.
I may have. I don't. I mean, there were people.
Maybe in passing
there were people, but I don't know.
But anyway, she's an awesome individual, and it's always great catching up with her. Want to thank the people that help make these shows possible.
Me.
Well, first I did want to say Jack for co-hosting with me. Thank you for.
Oh, thank you for
being
co-hosting with me.
Oh, see that.
Or do you consider yourself host?
No, we're both co-hosts.
Okay, because I didn't know if you had like a higher title.
No, it's just if you're a co-host, you're both co-hosts.
Okay.
Like, because it would be like host and sidekick, right? I guess if that would be.
I guess so. Like special guest star.
Yeah, special guest star. Okay. Yeah. Which I guess Melissa Anelli would be the special guest star.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's true.
But yes, thank you, Jack, for co-hosting this show with me. Thank you, Jacob, who does our artwork. Thank you to Colleen, who does a lot of our website management, posting the episodes, and also helping with a little bit of the research. And let's see who else. Thank you to Rob, who does the web design for the thing. And the people that support this show are patrons. And we want to especially thank Tack from Tokyo, Eckhart Richter, Joanne with the Plan, Maggie the Magnificent, and Ed the Letter Carrier. Thank you so much. If you'd like to become a patron, again, patreon.com/JayandJack. We have a full list of every single patron, whether you give $1 or more a month, on our website at jayandjack.com. Again, our special bonus episodes coming up later this month, featuring segments that didn't make it onto air for any of these episodes, including extended conversations with our special guests, as well as conversations between Jack and I. So only patrons that pay $5 or more a month will get that episode. Oh, man, I think that will do it. We have a network full of podcasts, including Ramblecast After Dark, The Broadcast, and Survivor with Jay, Jack, and Colleen, which is coming back. I think we got to do our preview episode here coming up. And if you like this show, give us a review. We're a new show. We need all the help we can get, because there was one bad review on here to start out because we took over the old Binge Watch feed for this feed.
Oh, so it's not a new review.
It's an old one.
We had a bad one for the Binge Watch?
Yes, I think it's just somebody who's kind of trolling us, gave us
because I only accept 5-star reviews.
Huh?
I only accept 5-star reviews.
It's good.
Okay.
But if you like what we do, give us a review. jayandjack.com/iTunes has all of our podcasts, and click on that beautiful primary color with iPod Jay and Jack Show logo and give this show a 5-star review. All right, Jack, I think that's it.
All right.
We'll see you all next time. Hasta luego, and goodbye.
Bye.